Hi colleagues, this is Michael from the Board Games Chronicle. Today I'm really excited to present to you Rebel Fury, the first game in the Civil War Heritage series by Mark Herman and published by GMT Games. Really looking forward to playing this game. In today's material, I will show you both the game components, explain a bit about the game characteristic and historical background. We shall of course have additional materials which will be showing how to play the game, maybe some playthrough. I believe those would be very interesting for you guys. I must admit, I'm still learning this American Civil War history. For us Europeans, it's not so close as for the guys on the other side of the ocean. I'm doing this via strategic level games, but also those more tactical operational games. The Rebel Fury, by the way, I love the name. Really, the title for the game is really cool. Will show us six scenarios, six important battles from 1863 and beginning of 1864. And now a disclaimer, guys. I probably can pronounce half of the names of the battles here, like Fredericksburg or the Wilderness. I would stay away from a couple of others. We'll need still to check it and make sure that I have correct pronunciation. The very interesting concept, which we'll see here in a moment, is actually there are a lot of concepts which I would like to underline, but one of them is that you have two battles played on one map, two battles played on another map, and another two battles played on the third map, which I think is very cool because you can see engagements which were happening more or less in the similar area at a different point in time. As for the box, this is not overly large, as you can see. This is like 2 inches box, beautifully made, sturdy. It shows the components, the free maps, the tokens of both sides. It says 50% solitary suitability. One of the scenarios is actually very solitary suitable. The other five are much more like two-player ones. Let's have a look inside the box and let's talk about game mechanics and some things which I would like to draw your attention to. First, we go to the rules of play and immediately observation and disclaimer. The rule book is paper. It's not glossy. I'm stressing this recently pretty often. I really like the paper rulebook. When I read in the evening with a lamp, there are no those shining, blinks and stuff like this, which really makes my eyes ache. So I really appreciate that this is a paper rulebook. How many pages? This is the first thing which I always really checking. 20 pages, so not overly complex game. And by the way, this game is treated as a low to medium complexity game, and I really believe it, with a unit at the division level, so really high level. What we'll have in the game, in the rule book, and in the game, of course, at the same time, are some interesting key concepts. And as you can see, the rulebook is not made in the typical way. We have, of course, introduction that it talks about those six battles. These are the units, these are the counters. But then it starts with a key concept. And there are like 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4 key concepts. One of them is zone of control and zone of influence, where you have units which are usually moving in the maneuver formation. But when they get closer to enemy, they immediately turn into the battle formation. You can see actually those formations here, yeah, how they will look like, and on the tokens we'll also show. Oh, here it's much better. Maneuver formation and battle formation. That looks even better. There are concepts. I will not be going through all of them, but really interesting concepts which make actually this game unique. The zone of control, zone influence is one of them. Maneuver formation and combat battle formation is the other one. And about movement and who can move on the hex grid and how you move on the roads. Actually, you can move pretty freely as long as you keep with the rules of the game. uh, and who can attack. When we have a set of definitions, and guys, what I love about Mark Herman rulebooks are all those design notes and play notes. This is really fun reading those rulebooks. It's not a concise set of rules. No, this is a thought process which is put to the paper, and you really understand why some of the rules were actually done that way. When you have sequence of play, and then details, command phase, organization phase. Again, a lot of play notes, which helps you with this. Then we have movement phase, of course. Very good examples of actual actions. This is extended movement example. And notes, more notes. Yeah, gamers love to try to interdict enemy reinforcements at map edges. It says how to prevent it in this design. Or, for example, optional analysis paralysis stalemate rule. Love it, simply love it. It's also automatic. Then we have attack phase. Also explanation why the mixed formations will not have a negative modifier, but when you can get a positive one. Steps of the attack, and then the end phase. And then, of course, extended example of battle of the attack, which you can see here. There are also additional rules regarding the artillery, heavy artillery, entrenchments, forts, and the field works. And that's all. Victory conditions. For all scenarios, you have victory points for elimination of the divisions or detachments from divisions, and also some specific, how they call it, strategic victory conditions for the specific scenarios. When we have index, and that's all. This really helps you with a sequence of play and attack resolution as a kind of a player aid. So very, I would say, thin, concise rulebook, not overly complex. By the way, this game gains a lot from the Gettysburg mini game in C3I magazine, which Mark Herman did a couple of years ago. So this is already proven system. Then what do we have else? 2-player aids with sequence of play, battle rating, summary, HQ removal check, attacks, tactical points, all this stuff. And on the other side, we have also the terrain and how they impact the movement, the fight, and so on. Typical things which you would actually expect from the Hex and Counter game, with all those interesting additions which I was telling you about. Now, this is a game track reminding moves, attacks. We track here for both sides, but when we have the turns, you can see this is one map and 2 scenarios, another map, 2 scenarios, third map, 3 scenarios, but also clearly shows the length of scenarios. Yeah, Fredericksburg, 3 turns. This is a charge attack type of scenario against more static defender, very solitary friendly. You lead the attack, the game actually plays as a defender. Yeah, some smaller here scenarios. I believe it's good to rather start from the smaller and quicker scenarios. Yeah. Good addition to the game and also nicely done. But for some of the scenarios, Fredericksburg, for example, you would have union off-map movement. So you can see there will be units moving here and there will be reinforcements coming. There is this specific rule which prevents player, to stop the reinforcement by simply blocking the entry hex. It's unrealistic, yeah. It didn't happen like this simply because the map finished at some point. It doesn't mean that the reinforcement cannot enter or cannot fight their way into the map. So this is important. Yep. Then we have a playbook, and the playbook shows us all the scenarios in pretty much detail. There is, first of all, a brief introduction, and this introduction is important. You see, it says about those general setup conditions. One of the important things is that each and every battle has its own set of counters. It's really easy to set them up because the counters will have designation for scenario, will have also the hex, number of a hex where they will start, or turn when they will enter the game. Really, really nice and pretty quick to set up. Yeah, this is very important. And because the game is a low density with counters, that means that you don't have too many counters, even if you have a separate set for each and every scenario. Okay. And we start with a Friedrichsburg, and of course, this is a good way to get into the design quickly. Essentially, you are charging Marius height and will likely achieve an historical outcome. Very good for solitary play, and you have optional solitary rules. Very easy to grasp, and then very good beginning. And I will probably start exactly with this scenario. Here is the setup. But of course, the setup is also written down on the counters itself. Then we have Chancellorsville, hopefully pronounce it well. Really big scenario. I believe the longest one. Yes, 3, 5, 10 turns. And also counter-wise a lot. Then we have Chickamauga, medium-sized scenario, I would say. Chattanooga, a little larger scenario. Battle of the Wilderness, short scenario, only 4 turns, but I see a lot of units there. And Battle of Spotsylvania. This will be long battle with many units. And then we have designer notes. Guys, make sure to read it. You know, a lot of games has additional historical stuff, player notes, designer notes. In Mark Herman's games, really, this is fun in itself to read them. I really like them. As I told you, this is not a rulebook playbook, this is a thought process put to the paper. And in memory of Rick Barber actually created the maps here. Beautiful, we'll see them soon. He passed away recently, so it's really beautiful that Mark is dedicating the series to him. Let's see now the counters before we jump to the maps. Let me go from the other side. So let me zoom in a bit. So as you can see, the counters, they show which scenario are they attached to, G, V, and so on. Also for the leaders, you have some field works, you have artillery support, ammunition. Here you would have a detachment, also for particular scenarios. Turn markers. Why 3? Because you have 3 different maps. You have 6 different sets of counters for the scenarios. So in essence, you can play 3 scenarios simultaneously on 3 different maps. Exactly. And this is the maneuver formation. You can see 4 movement points for the infantry division, 6 movement points for the cavalry division. But if we flip, this is in the battle formation for those divisions. This is the cavalry division. This is infantry division. Only 1 movement point. And on the other side of fieldworks construction, mass attack. There are situations when there is a mandatory attack. Not often, but there are such situations which force this. Another set of counters. This is second part. Also, the counters from The battles forts, yeah, these are really important. They will have specific rules. Moves, attacks remaining, also free. You might play free at the same time. Scenarios. This shows that where the heavy artillery will be landing. Beautiful. We'll need to clip them a bit, but counter clipping is something I like, so should not be a problem. And as you can see, not too many counters. I believe it's max, I don't know, 300, something like this. Yeah, 12 times 8 times 2, more or less 300. Now, the beauty of the beauties, the maps. They are not mounted, but you can at least have more of them. Look at this. Look at this beauty. Yeah, this is Fredericksburg map. Okay, and here are Marius Heights, which will be charged in this solitary game. I can tell you, I can see a work of art here. Beautiful map for the first two scenarios. Then we have another set of maps. Yep. Again, it looks beautiful. Chattanooga. Looks very, very nice. And the third map. And this map, I believe, is with some entry hexes. Okay. Also nice. Really, really like it. I can tell you this is really work of art. Those maps, they look fantastic, simply beautiful. This is work of love. Okay, guys, I believe that will be all. Let me quickly pack it up. A lot of good stuff, beautifully produced with some very interesting new mechanics. But you know what is most important? This is not an overly complex game. This is really low to medium complexity game, which you can learn pretty quickly using the Fredericksburg solo scenario. And I believe it will be hitting my table pretty often. There are two factors why the games hit the tables, and both are very important. One is the theme, the interest in the game you have, and the second is, of course, time needed. If a game lasts 10 hours, it might not hit the table so quickly. But for those scenarios, it's much more quicker, and I believe it will be fun to play. That's all for today I have for you guys. I hope you like this short unboxing, first look at where we discussed both the components and game mechanics. I hope to come back with more materials and more interesting videos, how to play, and some gameplay examples. That will be all for today. Thank you for watching this. If you like this video, please give thumbs up. If you'd like to see more games more materials like this, do not hesitate, and kindly please subscribe. Use the comment section below if you have any opinions, things to ask, or simply comment. Thank you for being with me today, and thank you for watching.